So today is going to be particularly useful for those of you who are interested in being more confident in groups or maybe when it comes to public speaking. But where I want to start is when it comes to so-called superiors. Because in the workplace, people seem to have this fantasy. And it's that they'll go to work, they'll be humdrum with their colleagues. They'll be a little bit more charismatic when they're interacting with a client. But when that boss walks in, the CEO, the direct reports, boss's boss's boss, when that person is present, they're just going to be instantly confident and they want to know how to do that. Or they're going to be at a social event, they're going to be kind of confident with their friends. But then when one friend brings someone that they're really attracted to, a guy or girl that they really like, they're going to dig down into this reserve of confidence, turn it on in that moment, shine through, and blow everybody away. And I will tell you, this is a fantasy. This is like going into some sort of a bodybuilding competition and expecting to do all of the work on the stage. You need to do some kind of preparation. And I use that bodybuilding analogy, if you will, because the truth is, in life, when it comes to social environments, everything is a rep. Everything is a repetition. If you're someone who goes to the gym, you know what a rep is it's one repetition of an exercise. And the idea is that through repeated repetitions and the breaking down, your body adapts and grows stronger. What you need to realize is that expecting to speak to the CEO of your company who makes you nervous, who has the power over your paycheck or to make your career, or that person who you really have a crush on, that's like walking into the gym, stacking as many weights as you can onto the bench press, and then just letting it rip, expecting it to happen. You really would be much better served to build up to that. And you do that by realizing that all of your interactions during your day are repetitions that are strengthening you. So when it comes to turning confidence on, this is a huge, huge mindset. It's not about turning it on with the CEO that you're going to see next Thursday. It's about having what it takes to turn it on with the next person that you see. And this might be someone that you don't feel the need to impress. And in fact, I'm not asking you to impress them. I'm asking you to dig and to find and create this space of confidence for yourself so that rather than trying to impress them, it's just something that shines out of you regardless of who you are speaking to. That will absolutely transform your life. It's going to make these serendipitous moments with those high status, superior people seem so much easier because you are getting the repetitions that you need to develop that skill in the first place. So that leads right into a second mindset that is incredibly important, and it's this. That person who is the CEO of your company, that guy or girl that you see as someone that you'd really like to date, before anything else, without even knowing them, I can tell you one critical thing, and that is that they are human. And it's they are human before they are a CEO or before they are a prospective person that you would like to date. This might sound trite because, of course, yes, we're all human. But when you realize this and you internalize this, you develop a superpower. When you think about it, most people treat everyone in their lives, and you will probably do the same, as a function of their role. They very quickly size up whether this person can help them, advance in their career, someone they want to date, befriend, whatever it is, and they then treat them as a function of that role. And it's very often tied to economics. So they walk into an Uber, and I'm guilty of this too, they have no interest sometimes in talking to that person, or they're getting served at a restaurant, and they treat that person as if their entire existence was to be a server. On the flip side, they're speaking to that CEO or that superior in some way, and they're deferential because they see this person as someone who is so much higher above them. When you realize that these people are both human, that nobody is better or worse than anyone else, you begin to connect on a level that matters. You're capable of interacting with that person in a way that is charismatic, and everyone around you will see it. Not only that, you'll feel good because you're connecting. But when it comes to that person who's a superior, you're going to be the one that they remember and that they connect with because everyone else around them treats them as a function of their role. It means they ask them work questions. It means they're deferential to them. But when you see them as a human, you realize this person cracks jokes, this person has a family, they have hobbies, they get pissed when their sports team loses, and you connect with them over those human things, you are the one that they are going to remember and care about. And I can prove this because if you think about any person in your life, no matter how tied to their job they are, think of the person that they would go the farthest out of their way to help. Sometimes it's a good friend, sometimes it's a son or a daughter or a husband or a wife, whatever it is. It's typically the person that sees and interacts the most with the human side of them. It's not the person that treats them just as a function of their role. It's not the vice president of the company who just kisses their butt all the time. And I've seen this in 100 different ways in my own life, but one of the ways that I saw it was when I was just 19. And one of the most charismatic people I have ever known was in Costa Rica with me. He was a friend of my friends. I was studying abroad. They both came down to visit. And I remember treating everyone around me in some way as if they were my superior, because I was the learner. I was being educated in that situation, and I thought everyone in that moment should be teaching me Spanish so that I can speak Spanish more perfectly. And this guy came down, and I'll never forget, we're sitting out interacting with people, and he sees this woman walk by with really, really pretty eyes. And he says, "Oh my God, she has the prettiest eyes. How do I tell her? How do I tell her? Never mind." And he just runs up to her and he says in Spanish, "Me amo mis ojos," which, if you don't know Spanish, is the most garbage way of saying, "I love myself, my eyes." And I was like, this is going to go terribly, but she burst with the biggest smile on her face, and she laughed at his bad Spanish, and they wound up hanging out with us. We went out to a casino because that was legal for us and very exciting. We were only 19 in Costa Rica, but I remember being blown away by the fact that he didn't treat her as someone that he needed to defer to or someone that he needed to get the language exactly right with. He connected with her first and foremost on a human level. And that didn't require him to get the language exactly right. It required him to be playful, to smile, to speak to her, to deliver a genuine compliment. And when you think about it, this is very important for funny people. What is the thing that almost everybody has in common? We like to laugh, right? When you think of the people in your life that you enjoy, they're oftentimes the people that make you laugh. But when we think about the people that we most want to impress, we are the least fun and funny with them. So if you can step into this mindset of being the person that, yes, is not constantly the class clown who can't be serious, but who is also capable of taking a solemn moment and adding a note of levity to it, that is going to make you feel more confident and connect much better. Because you're realizing, guess what? I get that there's this serious stuff happening around us, but we're also humans. And if we can't laugh at that, then we can't do anything. And just for example of these solemn moments, perhaps you've gotten in an elevator lately, right? And you've noticed that everybody there tends to be very, very quiet. They stand to themselves. They don't talk. They go, "Oh, how was your day?" They're very, very protocol-based. Now, what if instead you got in an elevator, pushed your button, you said, "What floor are you going to?" They said, "I'm going to the 4th floor." You said, "14 it is," and then acting like you were going to hit the 14th floor while they went, "No, no, no, no." And you said, "I'm kidding. I'm just messing with you." You hit the 4th floor. Probably that person would laugh and you would be on the human plane of potentially interacting in a much stronger way. So keep this in mind. If you can treat superiors and people who are technically, though I don't like the word, your inferior, who might be serving you, as humans, if you can mess around, if you can connect with them, if you walk into a store with a server, ask them when they get off, what plans they have for the weekend, same thing with your boss and other people, you're going to be able to connect with everyone much better and your confidence will rise as a result.